here's why each Kenyan, that being you and me, is valued at 1 million Kenyan shillings. And of course, now you're probably thinking, how? Make it make sense. Well, yes, let me break it down for you. Now, the economic output per person in Kenya on average right now is worth around 6,500 USD, which converts to a million Kenyan shillings. Now, who determined this? How did they determine this? Well, a report from Global Finance, a magazine known for accurate financial rankings, has ranked Kenya 142nd among the world's richest countries. Keeping it real, that's not too great of a position, but in Africa, we trump countries such as Nigeria and Rwanda. Now, according to Global Finance, this 1 million shillings is derived by calculating the GDP PPP per capita. So I know some of you right now just looked at me like, what is that? Well, let me explain. GDP stands for gross domestic product, and that is a measure of the total economic output of a country, including all goods and services produced within its borders, right? Now, PPP stands for purchasing power parity. So it's a way to compare the relative value of different currencies in simple terms. Per capita just means per person. So it's a way of looking at something on average for each individual in the population. So those are like the three separate definitions. Now, when you put them together, you have GDP, PPP per capita, that is now the gross domestic product. You adjust it for the purchasing power parity and then divide by the population of a country. Now, in short, it gives you an idea of the average economic output per person in a country, taking into account obviously differences in the cost of living between countries. So it's a measure of the average standard of living in a country. Now, how did Kenya fare in comparison with other African countries? Well, Nigeria was ranked at position 145. Those are 3 spots below Kenya with a GDP PPP per capita of around 995,000. Uganda, on the other hand, was ranked 167 with a GDP PPP per capita of around 500,000. So the leading African country on the list is Seychelles, that is ranked 52nd. Now, looking globally, the richest country, according to the ranking, is Luxembourg, with a GDP PPP per capita of 23 million, followed by Ireland, 22 million, Singapore, 21.5 million, Qatar, 18.5 million. Countries like Luxembourg and Singapore that I've just mentioned benefit from having sophisticated financial sectors and tax regimes that attract foreign investments. Others like Qatar and UAE have large reserves of natural resources, like you know. Now, please remember in the 1990s, Kenya was ranked a third world country alongside Singapore, but look at them now. So you should be thinking, how will this information help me? Well, I'll leave that to you. Let me know in the comments. And maybe the next time someone tells you you're worthless or you mean nothing, then you can as well tell them, I'm worth a million Kenyan shillings.